Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Wheeler and I'm a senior majoring in interpersonal communications and psychology, and today I'm going to be giving a presentation on how attributional biases have really contributed to the political divide we see here in America, especially following the COVID-19 pandemic. Attributional theory was first introduced by Fritz Heider in 1958 in his book, The Psychology of Interpersonal Communications, personal favorite of mine. And the theory is basically a way of describing how people explain the causes behind certain behaviors and events. And these causes can be either internal or external. So for example, let's say the event was, I got an A on the exam. So an internal attribution for that would be, I got an A on the exam because I'm smart or because I studied, because of my internal contributions to that outcome. Whereas an external attribution would be, I got an A on the exam because the exam was easy, so it had nothing to do with my personal contributions. And although the theory is typically used in psychology to understand behavior, I believe it's also really applicable to communications and subsequently politics, because the attributions that we place on other people and their behaviors will affect the way that we communicate with them and the relationship that we have with them. And in politics and on a larger scale, we are motivated to protect the groups and identities that we belong to, and we do so by employing these attribution biases to explain events. So for example, in politics, the common one is whenever something good happens, Republicans and Democrats both want to take credit for it, whereas when something bad happens, they're quick to blame one another. So that's the concept of the fundamental attribution error. And you can see how this easily creates a lot of divide between the two major political parties. So during the 2020 presidential election, one of the main crises that they were discussing was the amount of deaths that were experienced following the first 6 months of COVID-19. And both candidates took the strategy in their campaign of employing these attribution errors by saying that the other party's administration or policies were the ones that were responsible for the mishandling of all of these deaths. So you can see how the more that this blame is put on the other party, the more that they are shifted away from another. So this is a method of them each candidate unifying their own voters by distancing themselves from the other candidate. And here's an example of that during the second presidential debate.
Lived there for a short period of time before he even knew it.
We're going to move on to the next question.
And the people of Pennsylvania will show you that.
Let me move on to my next question, gentlemen.
Understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work. And as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House, because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President.
The Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
Let me follow up with you, Vice President
If we made a
Biden,
deal,
because
the Republicans
let me
will
ask
pass
Vice
it.
President Biden a question. You are the leader of the Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal?
Okay, so as you can see, that was a simple example of how they used this attribution in their campaigns to distance themselves from the other candidates, especially during the debate. A similar strategy is also used when discussing positive and successes. They want to take credit for their own party and their own administration.
Since January 20, and we're talking now about 15 months ago, the average daily cases are down from 184,000 to 19,000, below 20,000 for the first time since March of 2020. Average hospitalizations are down from 117,000 to 21,000. Death rates are down over 85%. And this didn't just happen by chance. We got to this moment because we took aggressive action from day one with a whole of government response. We used every lever at our disposal to get this done. We experienced the production and expanded it in a significant way in life-saving vaccines available for every single American. They're available, and we knew that was the case months ago. We work with cities and states to create over 80,000 vaccination sites.
So a similar outcome is also seen whenever they're discussing successful and positive events or if it's a crisis. So in taking responsibility internally for successes can still create the same divide because in reality, the responsibility probably relies somewhere in the middle, but when both of them are mutually taking this credit, they're pulling their parties away from each other and their voters. And here are the references I used in today's presentation.